You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to the Zod and Drea podcast.
This happened to be probably the best week ever.
Yeah, we had a lot of things that happened, so, I'll just let you go off. Go ahead, tell us.
We got to meet Dolores Huerta. She was in town for her the release of her documentary, Dolores, which everybody on the planet needs to see. And we got to go to a viewing where she had a Q&A hosted by herself and a local presenter for PBS, because they were also doing a special on her here, and PBS also sponsored her movie. But we got to meet her and talk to her, and she answered our questions. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool to be able to meet your hero. I guess. Would you say that she was instrumental in you getting into activism?
Yes, definitely. She was it. And
so explain some people, who she is real quick.
She was also leading with with Cesar Chavez with the National Farm Workers Association, and really helped to bring about all of their their rights for farm workers and for agricultural farm workers, and any type of labor issues brought to light. She was the one that helped build the policies in place, go to legislature, and if it wasn't for her, there would not be a Si Se Puede, there would not be the movement that happened.
Yeah, so it was really cool to see, and hopefully we'll be able to have her on the show at some point. According to her, it's very possible. So look for a Dolores Huerta interview sometime in the future. But let's get into what we're going to be talking about. So we went and saw the movie The Foreigner.
That was so good.
It was a really good movie starring Jackie Chan. So we're going to review that a little bit. Next on politics, we got the Me Too.
Oh, yes, the social movement that happened within the past, 4 days, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, the Me Too viral hashtag that happened, and we wanted to try something a little different on a discussion that we've had quite a few times, which is, why do so many groups fear gay, lesbian, and trans people? So that's what we're going to wind up talking about. I don't know if you guys ever discussed this within, your own groups, but it's so funny how, gay, lesbian, trans, they've been embedded in everyone's culture forever since the beginning of time. But even in 2017, people are still unaccepting. They're not just unaccepting, they use the dumbest excuses to get, to hate them. So we're going to get into it. So right now, let's start this off with The Foreigner.
Jackie Chan is back.
So yeah, my man Jackie is back. You can see the interview, the review that I had written late last night on the movie, but you can find that on zodanddrea.com. But yo, I had a lot of fun with this flick.
It was entertaining. It was shot really well too.
Yeah, it was shot. Jackie's back. It's more so this, this old man, and he's kind of grizzled up a little bit, and he's got a daughter who he's obviously overprotective about, for a good reason.
Exactly.
which you learn later on in the movie why he's overprotective about her. But I mean, the movie gets into it really quickly. They don't even waste any time. You don't even get any character development as into, hey, I love this kid.
I don't even know the daughter's name.
Don't know. It was Fan.
Oh.
It was actually Fan. His name is Kwan. And then, Kwan is just a regular guy, restaurant owner, got himself a daughter, and I guess he was picking her up for what it looked like high school. He's now a British naturalized citizen, from China, and he just wants to chill out, hang out with his daughter, and life is good. And
yeah.
But we got the terrorists, the Irish terrorists, who want to blow shit up, and they blow shit up with. Here's what I didn't understand. They said they were blowing up a bank. I thought they said they're blowing up a bank, but then they wound up blowing up the dress shop, and I'm like, and I was trying to see if the bank was next to the dress shop. I couldn't
get that either.
That's the only thing I wasn't sure about. But either way, poor Fan, she took it. And Jackie, if you've seen the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, with that one, it was a kidnapping. I guess for part 1 it was a kidnapping. I think it was part 2 or 3. It was about a murder.
Because there's 4.
Yeah, and Liam didn't play that. Well, this was the same thing. He's got a particular set of skills. That
he's got a past.
he had a big past. So Jackie just went on a rampage. And what I liked was that he was just relentless. So he would go to the police station like a good parent would. If your child died by a terrorist group, it's like, okay, I want the names of the people. Who is it who was responsible? Look, you're just an old man. Don't worry about this. Let the experts take care of this. But they didn't know this old man's past.
Right.
And how determined he was to try to find out who had murdered his kid. So it wound up being a whirlwind ride with Jackie at the forefront. But I like Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan was, I guess, what was he? It wasn't a senator or anything, but he was a head of state of something. He was a very important political power.
He was the liaison between the IRA, right?
I think it was like IRA or something.
And the British Parliament.
Yeah, so the IRA was, I guess, at one point they were, in his youth, they were the rebellious terrorists, more or less. But they were not into killing. Like, that was completely against everything. And this one, these people are bombing people, killing people. And so Jackie Chan's character, Quan, knew after he saw on that news reel on TV that this was the guy that he wanted to deal with to try to get answers. Like, the cops were just doing nothing. But this guy, he's a part of that group. So they have to know who the terrorists are.
Right.
So, obviously, he goes to some extreme lengths there where they completely underestimate the Chinamen. The Chinamen.
Well, I like that one line the one conversation that they have together between both characters, which was when Jackie Chan shows up to the guy, I guess the liaison's office, right? And the guy, Pierce Brosnan's character, is like, dude, why do you keep bugging me? And he's like, my daughter died. He's like, what would you do if your daughter was murdered? And that's when he's like, yeah, I would do anything.
Yeah, he'd do anything.
Duh. Dude,
so he is doing everything.
He's gonna be in your face, in your business,
like,
hunt
all
you down
day,
until you get him what he needs.
Hunting him down, he did do. I mean, military
literally
style. Like he was taking out all of his guys. This old guy in his 60s. Like what? And everything. Jesus Christ!
I know, he started talking with that accent afterwards.
every line. Pierce, let's see Jackie do something. Jesus Christ!
He was so mad.
He was like, he did what? He took out Smitty and then oh, Jesus Christ! Like he blew up what? Jesus Christ! And of course, Pierce, his hands weren't as clean. You got to check it out to see, where his dirt was. But there's intrigue, there's cheating going on, there's everything.
There's so much, and that's what made it so great. So not only was the action itself fantastic because it's Jackie Chan, but the story was really good.
Yeah, so if you can, check out the review on ZodandDrea.com, The Foreigner, and go check out Dolores while you're there too. It's a really good review there. So let's get into Me Too.
So, okay, I found out late last night that Me Too was...
All right, now I'm going to say this, because this is my line.
Okay.
Because I know what you're about to do, because that's why I pulled it up right there.
Oh, okay,
don't even try
right.
that. You see my computer real hard. You're like, you did that last podcast. Yeah, this is mine.
Oh, it's all yours.
Right?
Oh, gosh.
The Me Too hashtag was inspired by Tarana Burke 10 years ago. So if you haven't checked it out, the Alyssa Milano, well, you can talk about the Alyssa Milano part because that's where I learned from you.
Well, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, good.
You go right ahead.
You stole my thunder last. I forgot what it was, but I was like,
yes,
no.
Yes.
You looked at my screen. I'm like, where's yours? Where are your notes? Alyssa Milano had tweeted a Me Too hashtag, especially after the silencing of, what was her name? The baldhead co-star, Rose McGowan. After Rose McGowan was silenced on Twitter silenced her because she had said some stuff about
Harvey Weinstein.
Your boy Harvey Weinstein and your boy Batman, Affleck. So they went ahead and had a nice little campaign for the Me Too to do the hashtag Me Too, which was highlighting the sexual assault of women pretty much everywhere, just to show the numbers of women who had been assaulted. But what got me later on were how many men were. But Ebony and a few other people, even though, you pointed out whatever from, what's her name, some articles over on the Black Outreach article and things like that, that it was inspired, if not straight stolen from, Tarana Burke, who had started not just a campaign, but she had a website up. I don't know if you had seen it. It's metoo.support. Now, that maybe new, maybe she, re-put it up. I'm not sure, I have to do research on it. but it's something that was brought to awareness. Did you read the article?
No, I didn't.
It was brought to awareness for black women for Me Too. So it was really for us by us, which was to show all of the assaults within the community because we are so silent about it. So it was really a larger part of that, which was then taken not seriously, which is the problem, that if this was done 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden Harvey Weinstein and then Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano was like, oh, then that sparked the white women to be like, oh, let's do something, which is very representative of the feminist movements. What?
No, go ahead. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Go ahead.
No, it's just again, it takes it. You just see this pattern, and again, I'm glad that the issue's being brought out and women feel safe to share their stories. But it gets frustrating when it's women of color that have been screaming and shouting about the abuses that they've been receiving and the mistreatments they've been receiving in society. But again, when it impacts then white women, then it's like, oh, we must bring this to attention and we must do something about it. Fine, then do something about it. And that's the whole purpose, is like, let's just make something happen now. Since you guys didn't listen before, then let's do something now versus just let's just talk about it and then push it aside, you know.
But I mean, it's so amazing that 10 years ago this was something. I mean, Tarana Burke had put this to the forefront. And it's like, black women, whatever. And people will deny it and deny it and deny it, but it's true until a white person does something or says something. And that's about almost every movement. It will not become important to them. Like the opiate. We did a show on the opiate epidemic. It was the same thing. You know, opiate, oh my God, the opiate epidemic is just killing our nation. It's like, no, it's not. You just didn't pay attention to it before when it was AIDS and crack and in the black communities. Now that things like that spill over into the white community, then all of a sudden it becomes an issue. The same thing with Me Too. Now, it's really awesome to be able to see people put their stories out there, and it's something for men especially, but women are not immune to it, but men especially, to be able to check themselves on everything they do, from the cat calling, whistling, grabbing people's asses, people's titties, and, you know, things. It's like, dude, it's not that hard for you to just keep to yourself. Look! If it's all an issue, just look! Your brain is capable of holding images. Just look. But when you start invading space and, you know, it perpetuates the rape culture in our society that goes on and eventually, I guess, elects people president.
As a kid, you're taught certain behaviors. Why is this behavior still being taught and still being supported for men to act this way?
Exactly. So, in case you haven't checked it, check out Tarana Burke.
Please listen carefully.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod.
And I'm Drea.
And we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
I see a pattern. So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye.
All right, people, we're back.
All right, let's get going on this subject then.
Okay, so obviously we're going to discuss why do so many groups fear gay, lesbian, and trans people. This is going to be an interesting one. I mean, you have some notes up. I know you popped some things up. Now, in case you haven't checked, throughout history, we have had gay people everywhere. I mean, as recently as yesterday, you know, and it's really amazing that people will wind up discriminating them and having a fear of gay people. What's funny is I was looking at a couple groups online where people say, no, we don't have a fear of gay people, you know. There's no fear of them. It's just, you know, we don't like them. I'm like for somebody to have hatred in their heart for somebody for no reason, that's a fear. It is fear based. Like, what is it about them that you are having an issue about that you think is going to transcend within your own personal space if you have nothing to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
So it is fear-based, and they can try to deny it all they want, but it's ridiculous to me.
I just remember that you were telling me about a conversation you had with another man who's straight, and this guy had a big issue about gay men and the gay lifestyle. And I remember you were telling him that, look, I have friends that are gay. We don't sit around and talk about sex. Like,
Exactly.
like,
I
it
mean,
doesn't happen.
guess what? Believe it or not, gay people actually can talk politics too. They can actually talk about the new iPhone. You know, it's actually possible that trans people are able to, you know, discuss what kind of hard drives you want to buy instead of Seagate. Maybe you want to go and get a Buffalo. Like, I mean, people crack me up with the fact that they have these things where on their minds, which is what's messed up with the heterosexual people is, even though they discuss all these issues as well, they believe that if you talk to a gay person, it's gonna somehow sex is gonna come up, or you know they're so vain to believe that if I hang around gay people, they're gonna hit on me. Have you ever heard that one?
You ain't that cute. You are
like
not
really,
that cute.
like, dude, like seriously, that's what you believe?
Like you believe they're gonna automatically want to have sex with you immediately?
Just because every time you see a woman, that's all you want to do with her.
Yeah.
Like. You know, people don't make any sense within cultures. And now I'm going to speak, you know, more so in the black culture, because it's prevalent in there where there's this real big fear of homosexuality, and it's based a lot of it, quote unquote, biblically.
Talk to me more about that.
So from what I've seen on people, especially online and discussing people, you know, they're like, oh, gays or this and that. I mean, you know, I grew up also in the hip hop, you know, very hip hop. From, you know, the 80s on, and in hip-hop, like, it was a big thing to be like, yo, you faggot, blah, 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 or whatever, and that was the insult, like, oh, you got him, you know, your dad's a homo, and blah, 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 because, number one, there were so many things you can rhyme with faggot and homo. That was one of the things. It was like, nowadays, they say nigga all the damn time. You know, it was almost like one of those things. And in that culture where it's very macho and male-based, like, it's like, oh, I'm putting my bravado out there. Now, if you have sex with other men, then you're soft. You know, you're just straight soft, and that's what it is. Not knowing, you know, later on we get to things like World Star Hip Hop, you know, where all they do is show fighting and all the time. Then you see, like, the gay dude beating down the dude who's straight. It's like, okay, well, I guess gay people can fight, too, if they really want, you know. So that stereotype is dead. But in the community, it winds up being where people try to, like, you know, use the early biblical verses to sustain their hate. Just like mostly anybody who uses the Bible to sustain anything, they use it to sustain hatred and division. You know, oh, I don't want you doing that because I'm going to cherry pick the Bible. I'm going to wear my cotton blends. I'm not going to grow my beard. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, you know, cheat with my man's wife. And do all this other stuff.
I'm going to steal, I'm going to lie.
I'm going to steal, lie, cheat. I'm going to do all this stuff and be an asshole. But damn it, you're gay, you're going to hell. You know I can't do that. I'm going to... Bull. Like, bull. That's not what it is. You have a fear for gay people. And I think a lot of it, personally, I think some of these dudes they either had something done to them, or there's just... When you see these topics and you see brothers who speak way too adamantly about something, like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, someone will say, hey, is licking your butt during sex gay, you know, or having your butt licked during, yes, and then before you know it, 75 posts later, they have to completely tell you why it's gay for a woman to lick a man's asshole. Now, last I heard, okay, now, call me old-fashioned, but...
Because that always just seems so natural to do.
You know, call me old-fashioned, but I could have sworn that sex between a man and a woman was not gay. But somehow we have attributed the butthole to being something for gay people only.
Like this gateway.
Yeah, it's if you put your finger in a man's ass, that's the same as giving him, it's like reefer madness. It's the same as giving him one toke of weed, and before you know it, he's going to be on meth. Like, there are a lot of parts of the human body people don't even test or even try. And what's even worse is a lot that people do try and do test, and they try to say, no, that's gay.
Is that why the prostate exam? What do you call it? Not the prostate examination. What is it? The colonoscopies. Why it's so difficult for men that are of age to get that procedure done.
I think a lot of it is just a lot of people do die. I think a lot of that is just healthcare costs and things like that. People who don't want to go to the doctor because they gotta get greased up and stick a finger in your butt, but it's like, you know what, dude, I'm sure you've had a lot bigger things come out of your butt. So if this is for your health and you need a prostate, then no, you're not gay because you went to the freaking doctor. Mm-hmm. But in my community, they are so scared of homosexuality to where they invent things in the community to just go against it. And what's crazy is they know about Atlanta and DC and some of these down low brothers. Like the down low ones are the worst because they'll sit there, have a wife, have kids, the whole 9 yards, and go to parties or whatever and have sex with men and pretend that is not a gay act. It's like, well, I'm the one giving, he's the one receiving, so that's not gay, and I'm not going to tell anybody. And no, I didn't use a rubber because that's like admitting that I was going in to have sex with a man,
What?
Yo, man. They even had an SVU episode about this. Yo, anybody see that episode with the football player and Ice-T? And he's confronted him like, yo, brother, you're on the down low, man.
Not the Ice-T voice.
The Finn voice.
The Finn. All you need is your hair put back in a chogo and you're all set. How is it?
You're on the down. No, I'm not doing. You're on the down low, man.
Then he arrests him.
I'm not the dude is all adamant about it, but that's how brothers are. Mm-hmm. And then you wind up seeing some of the more flashy ones, like your boy RuPaul. You love RuPaul.
Love RuPaul.
But RuPaul stays in the RuPaul's lane. RuPaul knows what's up. RuPaul's saying, hey, this is who I am. This is my drag. Da-da-da. Now you got that bugged out dude. Who's the one on America's Next Top Model? What, Sister J or whatever? Like, it's funny because, like, Jay was cool in, like, seasons, like, 1 and 2. Jay was like, oh, I'm just going to show you what's up, how to walk. And by, like, season 35 or whatever it's on, Jay, I'm like, dude, you're... I think is that his name, Jay?
Yeah, Jay, you're not RuPaul.
Like,
okay,
Jay, stop it.
Just stop. You will not be him.
Anyway, we're just trying to find out why in the community people are so fearful of gay, lesbian, and trans. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And now I can't speak for like Latino men, but from what I've seen then when it comes to women in the Latino community that come out, what I understand is the fear within the families is, I guess depending on how traditional the family is, oh, well, mija, we won't have, you won't have kids. Life's going to be hard for you. Well, that first of all, the kid factor, it can happen. You can have kids. There's kids. You can have the family line. It will continue on. But as far as the world treating you a certain way and being that it'll be difficult, it really, if it took this person this long, or it took the strength for them to state to the world who they love and how they love, and they're ready for that battle. They're ready for that fight, and they know it's not going to be an easy way. But again, they stay strong in who they love, and man, that's all you gotta do is support them.
I mean, I don't see what's so hard about supporting people in your community or people in your family for being something other than. Mm-hmm. Not to compare it to, because it's different. You can't really compare a fear of homosexuality with homophobia. You can't compare homophobia with racism. Mm-hmm. You can to a point, but you really can't, because there is homosexuals within the communities of color. Mm-hmm. So it's an intersectionality there. It's like, well, what about women's rights? You can't compare that either, because there's homosexuality within women. And there are also black women. So what would a black, gay, female be listed as? That intersectionality is going to be absolutely wild, and you'll probably put her at the bottom of the shelf. Like at the bottom, and you won't, choose her over anyone. But then, you have some people like, who's that dude that made The Butler, Lee Daniels. Uh-huh. He's a gay person in Hollywood. They're a lot of people, but they won't, people won't give them their props the way that they should for their accomplishments because they are gay. Let's talk about what you were saying. You were talking about marriage and relationships, like in having kids and all that. Even that, they try to say, well, that's a sin. That's a sin. If you're going to try to uphold or try to use the Bible as everything to justify anything in your life, you're going to have to justify the people who are also speaking from that word. So if it's somebody in the pulpit saying, hey, you know what, it's homosexuals and blah, 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 whatever, and you're not supposed to do that, and you're like, oh, gays are terrible, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and make sure I ostracize them and blah, 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 no matter who it is within my community. And shame them. And, then, you're going to have to try and check out the person who said that message also, and you better make sure that they are perfect. You better make sure that they have nothing in their closet, because it's crazy how many of these people that are politicians who wind up doing the same thing, having homophobic tendencies towards people, but then they have homosexual tendencies within their own personal life, and then they wind up getting busted.
Remember that senator? It was like maybe 5-6 years ago.
With the toe tap dude.
Yeah, in the stall in the airport.
In the stall, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna look his ass up.
He got so busted. Oh my gosh! And then I want to talk a little bit about the transgender, because we talked about how groups fear gay, lesbian, and
that was Larry Craig.
Larry
Craig. We remember you, Larry.
How did that go for you so far? And I just watched the Marsha P. Johnson documentary on Netflix, and you guys, you got to see it. And learning about all of the long-standing abuse that the transgender community has received from police departments and from just from the outside, because again, people are so afraid of them, and really looking and understanding about this increase of murders that have gone on that have been impacted by transgender women who have been assaulted, and the transgender women of color that have been murdered, while and the person that has been found guilty of their murder, they claim this kind of assault called I didn't know. So my reaction to them was, once I found out that person had a penis and it wasn't a woman, I just reacted. And that type of plea has been getting people off for murdering all of these women. And so the discussion then in the movie was, why is that fear? Why are they so loathed because a man is dressing as a woman? That's been going on since the Greek times. I mean, come on.
I mean, they used to have it's called anal sex. A lot of times it's called Greek. I mean, that's what they did. People, and one thing I know within the communities also that people try to use as a crutch is AIDS. Now, AIDS is an 80s thing. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not around, because it is. But since then, in 2017, we have gotten a really good grip on HIV/AIDS to where they now have cocktails and medicines that people don't die from it anymore. It's not a death sentence anymore.
Right.
There are even ways you can have sex and not even catch it. They know how you can catch it. You won't catch it on the toilet. You won't catch. But in our communities where people, and I have to also blame the education system on this, because they remove things like health class and sexual classes that deal with this in the poor communities, and they don't give us a basis on what to strengthen our communities from. So if you don't know anything about how sex works, how AIDS works, how this works, how people can love works, you're going to wind up listening to people who don't know, and they're going to be the ones who teach you. So if they are the ones who say, hey, you know what, you're gay, and this is what you're going to be catching, you're going to catch AIDS if you talk to people, black people or gay people, then you're going to have an issue within your own community, and you're going to spread that to your kids and your kids. Oh, man. Is that it?
Wow.
Oh, my God. We're done. It went that fast?
It went that fast.
Oh, man. I'm like, what the hell is that noise?
Can you tell? We could talk about this for a long time. Every subject we could talk about for a long time.
That's crazy. I can't believe this is the first time I did not keep an eye on the clock, and it just completely went out. But you know what? That's what's so good about Zod and Drea, because we can always continue with this, and I think we should definitely continue this with a guest.
Please,
and we're going to have a couple of gay friends on, and we're going to discuss this a little further.
And let us know your thoughts. Okay? I keep asking this every week, and I would love to see some responses. Let us know what you thought of this topic. Let us know. If it's something that you want to be a guest in the show to talk about this subject, please reach out to us. You know all the places to hit us up at.
Yeah, so hit us up at zodandrea.com or at zodandrea, everywhere you can find us on social media. All right, so otherwise, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.